So OnlyFans creators, I can't believe we haven't talked about this, guys, are up 14% this year. What this is doing to this generation, I mean, porn usage is at an all-time high. Deep fake sexual AI content is becoming more and more common. Guys, this is the stuff people aren't talking about. This is why we go here. And why are so many pastors in 2025 not talking about this from the pulpit? It's wreaking havoc in the lives of men, families, women, going to church, living in silent sin. If you're listening to this episode with little kids, by the way, or innocent ears, like this is your official warning, guys. Where the culture goes, we're going to talk about. It's explicit, but it's necessary to go there. Cultural evils get really dark, but you as a church need to know the depths of wickedness to be able to fight them properly. Today, we're diving into the origin, proliferation, and normalization of quote unquote adult movies, whatever that means, with my good friend who's by his own admission, an ex-porn actor. It's not acting, of course. I mean, this is real dark stuff. He is a redeemed Christian warrior brother, Joshua Broome. He's been on the show before, and we talk about the consumption of pornography in the church, the science behind the insane neurological effects of porn on the human brain, and a lot more. This episode is tough. It's a tough, hard conversation, but a very, very important one. If you're listening to this, if you're not struggling with porn, many people you love are, whether you believe me or not. Send this to the men and pastors in your life. The church needs to hear this episode now more than ever. Guys, follow us on Rumble. We so appreciate it. Okay, if we ever get digitally assassinated by YouTube, help us protect the show. Subscribe at Rumble. And join us at the White Rose Resistance by going to thewhiterose.life, www.thewhiterose.life, and join as an ally at $35 a month. Get your battle box in the mail. Or $70 a month at Air Support. Join our Books in the Barracks book club as we read books together. Let's get into it. This is the Seth Gruber Show. Joshua, bro, welcome back to the show. It's been like 2 years since we did in person.
I know, it's been a while.
And so grateful for you. You're in town for our incredible event, The Last Stand.
Let's go.
And just so grateful for you, bro. I was talking to my team just before this, and we were talking about how rare it is, even now, after all this cultural insanity, for a pastor to just every once in a while from the pulpit kindly and boldly say, I know half of y'all are looking at porn anyways.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that and maybe abortion, probably porn more than abortion, probably, honestly, Joshua.
I mean, as we know, they go hand in hand. You know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the porn's going to be more with the dudes. The abortion's going to be more with the girls. Sure. But every abortion with a girl probably involves a guy, whether she told him or not.
Right.
But these are like these strongholds in the church. And you and I have talked together before how they kind of always go together too. But dude, like, why won't most pastors talk about, like, even once a year, say anything about the fact that this data shows that half their men probably or more are looking at porn? Is it because all the pastors are porn addicts? Like, obviously not all of them, but like, you're like, pastors bring you in to say the things that they don't even say. Like, help us out here. Like,
yeah, I mean, you look at the last, 5 years, probably spoke at over 300 different churches, essentially the same message, where I share my story and I talk about, hey, this is how pornography is, running rampant in our culture, and here's what the Bible tells us to do about it. And I run into people that I respect. And then I see people saying things like, hey, masturbation could be a useful tool in you being resilient and staying pure with your wife. I'm like, how does that make sense? I mean, the like, it's like, well, it's not explicitly in the Bible that masturbation is sin. And I don't want to go on a tangent, But it's like, well, if we are to crucify our flesh, or we're to have self-control, if we're to, grow to be mature, how is that doing any of that? And what does that have to do with sex with my wife? It's just like so far from the reality. But I think, to your point, we talked about, I think last time we talked about this data that Barna grabbed. So it was myself, Pure Desire, and Barna, and they polled 3,500 churches, grabbing all sorts of data. And they found out of these 3,500 churches that in these churches, 84% of them said that pornography was the most problematic thing regarding men in their church. And 7% of those churches that said that it was the biggest problem, only 7% had an actual solution, had some type of like sermon series, had some kind of program. More often than not, they put it in the bucket of Celebrate Recovery, where it's discussed for 1 week. Right. And if we live in a generation that, people have been watching porn since they were 12, 13 years old. So how are we going to eradicate a 20-year problem with a 1 week solution? It's not going to happen. And to your point, so if so the data, 18 to 25 years old, regarding guys that identify as followers of Jesus who attend church once a week, 18 to 25, in that demographic, 84% of men said they were watching porn at least once a month. And then women, 64% in 18 to 25.
Oh my gosh.
Regarding women, that's up 400%.
From when?
2020.
Jeez.
So, obviously
in a 5-year window?
Yeah, you got COVID, you got the explosion of OnlyFans, participation up 1,200%. And really it's like, it's this booming industry that didn't really exist before COVID. And then it became a viable option for people.
No, OnlyFans, not porn.
Well, right. OnlyFans. Yeah. You got porn on walls in Mesopotamia 2,000 years ago. But, to your point, what you don't talk about sends a message. When I don't tell my kids, there's something dangerous that can hurt you, and then they encounter it, and in their adolescence, their brain is not developed to deal with it, and it harms them. So when we're sitting in churches and sex is not talked about at all, pornography is not talked about at all, the world's screaming about it. I tell parents this all the time. If you don't tell your kids about porn, you're going to have to answer 2 questions. If it was so important, why didn't you tell me? And number 2, why is what you're saying different than what I heard first? Now I'm going to have to give an apologetic for why sex is what I say it is. And I felt like, but to your point, I think that, yes, based on, I don't want to bash the church. I love the local church. But, based on what's happening with pastors falling left and right, yes, the people who are not preaching the messages, ironically, are probably struggling with some capacity, or they have a past. And again, I don't want to say this person's name, but we will know who we're talking about. But someone who had a very well-known moral failure. Ironically, if you Google books on purity, they've got the number 2 best-selling book on purity. Where's the irony in that? It might have
really?
Yes.
Recently?
Yes.
Dang.
But maybe this was an old list, but regardless of that,
wow.
I think it's like, man, we really got to take a step back, and if we don't talk about this, understanding the brain, understanding culture, understanding, past trauma, like all these things, it's very nuanced. And then pornography it's adapting. You look at the growth of social media regarding how it's monetized and how content creators, it's a normal career path for people today. Well, that monetization strategy, Pornhub was doing 20 years ago. So everything that YouTube and Instagram and Facebook started doing, Pornhub was doing it years ago.
Mentioned that to me one time.
Yeah,
so that you said something like, all of the newest technology or innovations happen in porn first. Yeah, you said something like that. Is that true?
Literally, I'm sitting in a room at Capitol Hill, and I was on a advisory board around media, image-based sexual abuse, and we were talking about just the way that AI was doing like deep fakes and stuff like that. And this was the beginning of this wave of age verification, which it's something pretty amazing is about to happen. So it's been
Really?
Well, it's been incorporated in 27 different states, age verification, and in Texas.
What does that actually mean? Like, so when I go to buy a gun, or I like to look at guns, because I'm a man,
right,
and I go to a website, and all I have to click is yes, I'm 18.
Right.
Is that what this is, or is this actually like you have to show a driver's license?
Yeah. So this is now.
This is
you
next
have
level.
to provide a government issued ID.
Okay. So it's much better than just yes, I'm 18.
Yeah. So that was the problem. That was the problem because there's no legitimate barrier. But what has happened in Texas? So Texas was implementing $50,000 fines, which was part of their legislation. $50,000 fines per day of any website that wasn't adhering to that. They started implementing the fines, and all of a sudden, Free Speech Coalition sues Texas, saying that this is an infringement on your First Amendment rights. But please tell me how this is an infringement on your speech.
Yeah.
But it's not a barrier, it's a boundary.
Yeah.
So
you're saying watching people have sex is not free speech?
Right. Yeah, it's just insane. But if you think about this, so like cigarettes, alcohol, rated R movies, all regulated. If you're gonna have something in the public space, you've got to be regulated. It could be deemed dangerous for kids. Neuroscience tells us that you can see it on a CT scan. If a child or even an adult is exposed to this, there's synaptic cleft with those.
What'd you just say?
The synaptic cleft.
What's that?
So it's part of your brain that's sitting by the prefrontal cortex where the dopamine hit goes. So you can literally see
you can see it.
You can see the tracks to the brain. So almost like if you imagine a field where you walk the same path over and over and over again, and then there's a
trail.
There's a rut there.
Yeah.
Well, porn will leave that in your head.
Yeah.
And in the same way, if it's dark and you're let's say that you're stressed or you're depressed or whatever, there's a trail in your brain where if you want to feel better, well, there's a clear path on how to do it, and it's porn in your head. But luckily, neuroplasticity still exists, and you can reroute that path and create a new one.
Neuroplasticity.
Yeah. So it's just the fact that your brain can change. It's like neuroscience or Romans 12:2. That your brain can be renewed.
Right.
Because there was data around this stops around 30 or something like that, and it's been found that that's not the case. Like sure, it's slower and takes longer, but there's not a time in your life where that stops happening.
How long's porn been around?
Long time, man. Long time. Obviously, you look at early church history. You look at Corinth. You look at Ephesus. You're literally worshiping, sex idols. You look at, literally, like I said earlier, it was etched on caves in Mesopotamia, where it was pornography. But I think there's just like really interesting period of time where dating did not exist until 120 years ago. Wild concept, right? Dating did not exist until 120 years ago. And what was catalytic in that was the automobile. Once the automobile was invented, all of a sudden there was this opportunity for not just for you to meet someone that you knew in your town, or you were friends with a family and you knew this family. There was some kind of introduction there. Now you can just like roaming wherever, and there's this variety and whatnot. So that in itself was not designed, and it can be problematic. Well, not too long after that, the first silent film was made. So first silent film is made. 6 months after the first silent film was made, the first porn film was made and was on a screen. You know what the title was? Casting Couch. So in 1920 already.
1920?
Because if you are putting out a film, you would have to believe that, well, I've contextualized a message that would resonate with an audience. So in 1920, the idea that a woman would walk into a director's studio and they're auditioning for a part, and if they want that part, they're going to be coerced to have sex. And that made so much sense that they put it in a movie, and just by saying Casting Couch, they already knew what that was. So people who were consuming that type of content were so familiar with that, they can make a movie that went well. That it was consumed largely, but in a 6 month frame. first silent film, 6 months later, porn film comes out, and that's the society that we lived in. So how long has porn existed? A long time.
Yeah.
That word comes from the Greek New Testament, porneia, where it's talking about sexual immorality. So that's why I love that, you and many other people, they won't, they're being bold, they're being honest. Because I think when we tiptoe around things and we call things other than what they are, well, what does that do? It leaves room for manipulation. It lacks clarity. So I always say pornography, because when I say I was in the adult film industry, or if I say adult film content, what am I saying? That this is something that's suitable for adults. This is something that adults do. When you're old enough, you can do or watch porn.
Right.
I mean, that's the messaging we're saying, because I mean that's the language that we've adopted in Western culture, where to make people comfortable.
Right. It's just mature.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It will. Yeah. I think
like video games are just like, right. Like tons of video games with a mature rating are like filthy.
Yeah.
But it's just an M, right? If you're old enough, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. But I mean, to go back to you asked initially, like, are pastors struggling with it? Yeah. I mean, yes. Are people in churches struggling with it? Yeah. But what is the purpose of the church? Well, you're to edify the body. You're to build people up in the word. And if we're not preaching the totality of the Bible, well, like Paul doesn't pull any punches when he's talking about sexual morality.
Yeah.
He talks about it a lot, So I think not guarding people or leading people to guard themselves in that way is irresponsible. And I think the way that we've gotten to where we are is not saying things that make us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So to the parent not wanting to have that conversation with the kid, it's always really interesting when you push back just a little bit, especially if the kids are like 10, 11, 12 years old. It's not that you're worried about what you're going to say and how that's going to impact them. It's about you. You don't want to say it. So maybe something has happened in your story, or maybe you just have an uneducated understanding of sex, and it seems like taboo or weird to you. So that's going to come across in how you communicate it. But sex is beautiful. Sex is God's idea. He thinks it's awesome. It is awesome in the confines of marriage, where it's beautiful and it's for pleasure and procreation and connection, and it's symbolic of Christ and his church and the unity that God has always experienced with himself, the Spirit, and his Son. And I think that's the problem. It's like it's not that we're not talking about it rightly, even. It's that we're just not talking about it.
Yeah. I think what a lot of maybe pastors don't understand, bro, is just how like spiritual and demonic a lot of these things are.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like it's hard to think of things more demonic than like killing children and sexualizing children.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's what abortion and the pornography industry is built upon, Yeah. I mean, you've told me before some of the most searched porn is teenage, young, barely legal. Like you've shared this before. I mean, it's like the whole pornography empire is built on sexualizing children.
Yeah.
Because eventually their customers and viewers are going to die. So you have to sexualize the next generation.
Yeah.
For them to watch this.
Yeah. I mean, in the same way that
like, why can't pastors preach against that?
Right.
My goodness.
I think like in the same, well, again, like our job as like evangelical leaders is to guide people in the ways of Jesus and to use the scripture to push back against culture. We're not to be conformed by the world. Again, Romans 12, we're not to be conformed by the world. But like if you look at what AI is happening, like what's going on, like we were just talking about this. There was a video that someone posted where someone's proposing to an AI generated personality.
AI chatbot.
Yeah.
I just saw this.
Well, the fact that they're crying and they're like emotionally attached to this fictitious representation of whatever. But the most bizarre thing.
But the AI chatbot said yes, Joshua.
Right.
It said yes, and then, it would marry him.
Yeah, and it's like the person that was interviewing asked the bot was like, "Do you have a heart?" They were like, No, literally, but metaphorically, I do, and my feelings are real. About this person. But like, what do you mean by real? I think one of the greatest questions that you could like ever learn in apologetics is like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What is the source from which you're getting your information from? But it's like, how do we get there? Well, again, like what your question was, man, I was when I first got in the industry, you're talking like 2006, like almost 20 years ago when I was when I first got in the industry. And when I first got in the industry, there was a company that I worked for, and their like niche was barely legal. And there would be girls that would be getting there, and like everyone's celebrating, the girls celebrating, the director celebrating, and it was their 18th birthday.
Oh my gosh.
And but if you just think just for a moment, because like when you're living in the middle of depravity, this is the way depravity works. It's like you don't see what you're doing, and you're numb to reality. And so I never thought like, oh my gosh, this girl's 18 or whatever. I was like 26. I was like, I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, this girl's 18. But what I really wasn't thinking was, how did this 18-year-old get here today?
Yeah. That's the question, right?
Like, how did she get there today? It's not that she like turned 18 that morning and searched online.
Right,
how can I do?
Right.
No. She doesn't even live in the place where we were. So someone had groomed her and paid for her travel.
Yeah. Right.
And they were there. And many of those times
the plan had been hatched long ago.
Well, many times this girl's not even from America.
Oh gosh. Right.
So, which is international sex trafficking.
Yeah.
But so it's like this would happen with much regularity. But now fast forward 20 years. If you haven't had Heidi on, you should. So my friend Heidi, she was a critical care nurse in Kansas City, and she was an examiner for children who have been sexually assaulted. And she saw a common theme, and it began to come up. It's like, gosh, like is this happening just here, or is this happening in other places? And it was that the perpetrator was between 11 and 14 years old. And she started asking around in Kansas City, and like, is this happening? She's like, yeah, like the data is adding up. And she started asking in other states, the data is acting up. And then she started asking in different countries, and the data was just the same. And they come to find this, that in around 60% of sexual assault cases on children, the perpetrator on average was 11 and 14 in 60% of the cases in America, 65% of the cases in Europe, 72% of the cases in Australia. And they had another common theme, that the perpetrator was a sibling, and that sibling was watching incestual porn.
Wow.
So you know what the fastest growing niche of pornography is? Incest.
Oh my goodness.
It's a stepbro, stepsister stuff. But I share all that to say, if we don't understand that we're being indoctrinated, not only to think, but to do. Like that's Satan's scheme. Like Satan doesn't want you just to not think well. He wants you not to live well. That's how he wants to kill, steal, and destroy you.
Yeah.
So if I can rob the man of their dignity, then I can infiltrate the home. I can corrupt the children, and convince people that life doesn't matter. And it's crazy to think about. But the fact that in that many cases, like, kids are abusing kids because they're watching that type of porn and they're acting it out. They're literally tying up their brother or sister and raping them because that's what they watch over and over and over again. And that's advertised as normal.
Right.
Because Pornhub and other websites, they're studying you. And so when you go on there, they don't show you more of what you want to see. They show you more of what they want you to see. And it's always deeper and darker because they want to take you somewhere. Because if I can give you a deeper, darker, or a higher high than you got before, you're going to keep coming back. I mean, this is the world that we're living in. Like, not only is it just, it's demonic, but like it's literally destroying men, women, and children.
Yep. E. Michael Jones wrote a book called Libido Dominandi. sexual liberation as political control.
Yeah.
And it's a history, Joshua, starting from the 1770s with a guy named Adam Weishaupt, who became the founder of the Illuminati. He starts there and he goes through the French Revolution all the way past Kinsey.
Yeah.
And the whole book is about how, libido dominandi is pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
Domination via the libido, basically.
Yeah.
But hey, just sexualize people.
Yeah.
Just tell them to do whatever feels good. Now we got a generation of playboys and playgirls. Hugh Hefner's vision, just sexual enticement, insanity.
Yeah.
Because then those people will be numb,
Yeah.
addicted to pleasure,
Yeah.
and always looking inward.
Yeah.
And those kind of people are very easy to control.
Yeah.
And I can't help but notice when we talk about, obviously, like what we're talking about, it's like, it's hard to even like keep your mind there very long.
Yeah.
That kind of evil, which is why people like you and Victor Marx and Jacoboians are just like heroes. Cause I like that's such a hard place to live in with your head all the time and fighting that stuff. But there's another level to it. And this is where I think it actually gets demonic, and where the demonic is at a political level. Is that you have an entire generation in the throes of that kind of activity and addiction. You can kiss your society goodbye.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the people who will themselves be in charge are the ones that just happen to be the more crafty. They're probably in throes to the same sort of addictions.
Yeah.
But they notice that it's a way to control the people. And I always, this is, some people get confused by this, like libido dominandi, what the heck does this mean? No, it's super simple. Think of any addict you know in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they super on time to dinner? Are they super reliable to babysit your kids?
Yeah.
Uncle John, who's always drunk. He's someone you can really rely on all the time. No, we all know this. Anyone who's an absolute addict does not care deeply about other people around him, doesn't think very often of those that he loves, is not involved in their lives because he's always looking inward on how he can please himself, how he can pleasure himself, whether that's sex, porn, drugs, alcohol, food, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have an entire generation like that, you will lose your civilization. But what we're seeing now, Joshua, is having that normalized, inculcated in the minds of the next generation in a way that even Caligula couldn't have possibly imagined.
Yeah, I mean,
so like you're taking all that you're saying, but like, whoa, like this is not just your dad and you find his Playboys in the in his closet.
Right.
Everyone has that story who's over 35 or 40. Unfortunately, most men. It was when I stumbled in my dad's whatever. But now it's like, no, it's like you idiots are giving your kids iPhones for Christmas.
Yeah.
Parents are giving their kids porn for Christmas, essentially, in the form of video games or, smartphones. But now AI, where are we going with some of this stuff, dude?
Yeah, I mean, literally, there was like 3 months ago, there was a girl that, because, I mean, digital marketing regarding social media, that's the way in which marketing is done. And OnlyFans, they've really understood that because they were kind of birthed out of a content creator generation. Right. But I say that to say 3 months ago, there was a girl that had a popular TikTok. She's got millions of followers on TikTok, and she uses that as a funnel where like, go to my TikTok, go to my link tree. Here's my OnlyFans. Oh gosh. She made a video that was her. It was her, and she was dressed provocatively, but she used an AI filter to make herself look like she had Down syndrome.
What in the world?
And it got a ton of views, and those views took you to her platform, and her platform took you to her OnlyFans. I mean, that's the type of things people are doing. It's just insane. And It's like, I mean, the fact that right now you can use AI to grab a photo of a child and create a porn with it.
Yeah, Victor Marx told me this 2 years ago. He said, don't put pictures of your kids online.
And it's like, you can do that. And what like, you go even deeper than that. It's like, you can take that photo and you can 3D print it onto a doll, and take this doll of this child and have sex with this doll.
What in the world?
And then put that on a porn site, and it gets monetized, and it gets millions and millions of views. And that's not a theoretical concept. That's happening right now. And there's no legislation around it.
Gosh.
Once, like 3 or 4 years ago, I was sitting in a room where, again, I was at Capitol Hill, and we were in one of these meetings, and we were talking about age verification, and the age verification hadn't even passed yet. And then talking about how Pornhub is always, a step ahead regarding digital. Well, they had an app that existed. And it was called, it was something Hub. But essentially, they had an app that was there to allow you to go around the VPN that was going to be installed.
Oh my gosh.
Through the age verification. It was called like something Hub. I forget. But anyway, the fact that they didn't know that it existed, and that app was rated 2 and up.
Oh my gosh.
But the app existed so that you could go around any kind of boundary to access porn. Like, that's what it was for. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's where society is going. If we don't do something about it, it teaches you not to love people and use things, but to use people and love things.
I said something one time, and I can't remember if it was an original idea or if I heard it from someone else, to be honest, bro, but it goes like this. Objectification eventually always leads to commodification.
Yeah.
Is that true? And what does that mean to you? Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, if I have a learned behavior to objectify people, then they then become a commodity. So they're for my use. So I should be able, in the same way, I saw a documentary on Netflix where it was this guy that went and interviewed different people in prisons. And there was this one place where a ton of the prisoner population, a lot of them were in prison for rape. And they were like, well, why are you guys raping women? Why are you doing that? Well, they were like, well, I'm a man. So number one, I'm more important than women. And number two, sex is something I'm owed. So
this is what they were all saying.
Yes. I mean, pretty much same script. But this is a learned behavior where if sex is something I'm owed and a woman is an object, then it only makes sense that I should be able to take what I want from the object, because it's not a person made in the image of God. It's an object that's for my desire. And this is what pornography is teaching. Like, to your point, it's like, I mean, it's just this entire bridge. And then just thinking about this, like controlling society, with the clip that I shared at the event, something I shared at the event in January, and that clip kind of went viral, where just the reality that during a presidential election, it made sense in 7 swing states to run ads on Pornhub saying, hey, you better vote this way or you're going to lose your porn.
You're going to lose your porn, that's insane.
But the reality is
vote for Democrats, free porn.
but the reality is that why like it's messed up that they did that. Sure, it's messed up. But the problem is it was a viable idea.
Right.
The problem is that one website gets 100 million unique users per day. So the fact that they did that in a place where it's, there's the people are there. Yeah. I mean, that's the point of digital marketing, where like go where people are, goes where eyes are. Yeah. And that many eyes are in that place to run that message, and not at the beginning of a campaign, at the end of the campaign. It's like, man, this is the way that I get, a state that's kind of on the, one could go one way or the other, and this is how we get them.
Yep.
Say, hey, you don't want to lose your porn, vote this way.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that's a reality in the world that we live in today.
Well, it's also incredibly telling. Like it tells you everything you need to know about our culture. Yeah. Like, just think about that. Like, vote Kamala Harris, keep your porn. I mean, that's like she's going to be known by that forever.
Yeah.
You know, like that's insane. This is not surprising. It's a woman who slept her way up the levers of political power, but we don't need to get into all of that. But
it's like, I think at the same time, it's so interesting to be so bold with that strategy.
Yeah,
it should.
I saw the ad because some conservative ripped it and it went viral on social media. But it's like a white Republican man, and he walks into the bedroom and he's like, "Hey, stop looking at that porn." Well, and basically he's like, Trump's president now, so you don't get porn. It's like, okay, first of all, like, listen, I voted for Trump, but he's not going to do anything to take porn away. Right. I would love to see that. I would love to see some federal legislation to criminalize porn, the production of porn, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. It's a uniparty problem. I mean, this is a cultural problem that doesn't. It's not a Democrat problem. It's an everyone problem.
I mean, what's realistic, but I'd say what's realistic, and it's so problematic that I can't believe that it's not the case. It's not regulated. It's not regulated at all.
Yep.
But if you look at the damage that it's tied to, like, tell
us what happens if a 10-year-old starts looking at porn, and 20 years later at 30, he's still looking at porn.
You're Ted Bundy.
Yeah. So, if people are just bodies.
Yeah.
So therefore, I can objectify them.
Right.
That's literally what objectification is. You're an object.
Yeah.
You're not a person.
Yeah.
You're a pound of flesh for me to enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you are just a pound of flesh for me to enjoy, and you're not an incarnational being with an eternal soul,
right?
Then it makes sense that eventually someone in that mindset will just buy you.
Sure.
And what is porn if not the buying of bodies? And by the way, the buying and selling of bodies, because how much of pornography is linked to sex trafficking?
All of it.
So if killing babies is healthcare, then I guess selling them is capitalism.
Yeah. I mean,
right? If we can kill babies because they're not people, and I can enjoy someone's body because they're not people.
Yeah.
It's not a long step for a society to just purchase bodies.
No, I mean,
like that's one of the ways this stuff is linked, right?
I mean, it's the same thinking that you go to a website and you see a girl's photo and you click on it, and then OnlyFans, you click on it and then you say you ask questions and then you say how much. Well, it's the same thinking of a Polaroid of a little girl in Cambodia, like on. You're walking down the street, you see, these glass windows.
What's that? Well, like a brothel?
Like, yeah.
Oh, they're showing their
Well, yeah,
oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Hey, here's this picture. How much? How much are you willing to pay?
Right.
Because it's not that. I mean, that's the thought process of the people who are in the industry.
Yeah.
You're manipulated to think that my no doesn't have any volition because the only thing I can say yes to is selling myself for sex. So if the only thing I can say yes to is selling myself for sex, then I can't say no to anything. So I say no to nothing and I say yes to everything.
Whoa.
Because I'm taught to think that way because it's the only thing that I have value for.
Dang.
But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor of the Seth Gruber Show. We love these people. They're our sole sponsor. Other people try to sponsor the show, and I just, I want it to be values aligned. I need it to be the right people. And my friends at Every Life Diaper Company are just salt of the earth, culture warriors. They found out that almost every major diaper company and baby brand in America supports abortion, like the baby industry, that will sell more goods if people have more babies. They don't abort them. Most of them support abortion. Make it make sense. We call that the woke mind virus here at the White Rose Resistance. Everylife.com, America's pro-life diaper company. You get your wipes, you get your baby diapers, you get your non-toxic, organic, healthy, make America healthy again, shampoos and baby shampoos and lotions, okay? And we do all of this. And my wife and I, we have it delivered to the house. So you sign up for their subscription model, you just get it delivered to the house, and you don't have to do those emergency Walmart runs when you run out of diapers. We love it. And I know the people at Every Life. They're incredible, spirit-filled believers who love America and they love the unborn. Go to everylife.com and use promo code Seth10, Seth10, for 10% off your first order. That lets them know that we sent you, by the way. That's important because then they, you go, hey, we're Every Life because of Seth. And then the white rose grows and then they grow. And then we defund every pro-abortion diaper company because the people having the most babies, conservative Christians, are only spending money in alignment with their values. Go to everylife.com, promo code Seth10, and tell the lady who leads the nursery at your church, right? All the churches are buying diapers. They should not be getting it from pro-abortion companies. Everylife.com, promo code Seth10. Thank you, Every Life, for sponsoring the Seth Gruber Show.
What do you say to someone, Joshua? Like, let's say some dude or dad is watching this, and he goes, dude, you're totally overblowing the problem. I agree, some of that's sick, but I'm not into that, man. Sometimes, man, when it's been a long time and the wife's not helping me out. I look at porn and, I know that the women are in their 30s. I know they agreed to be filmed. I know there's no possibility that they were trafficked, which you can't really know that.
Right.
And I never buy porn, Joshua. I never put my credit card in for anything. I'm just on the free sites, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that, man?
Well, it's free because you're the product.
Right.
I mean, you're paying with your eyes.
Yeah. You're funding it.
Well, there's only marketing dollars in places where there's eyeballs.
Eyeballs, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to the idea, it's like I'm not harming anyone. Well, what are you contributing to?
Yeah.
Like the very existence of that is you being there, watching that, and what does that contribute to? I mean, 40 people that I know and love dead. 43 people that I was in the industry with, suicide or overdose. And
43.
Yeah. But here's the messed up thing. So when someone dies in that industry.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
43 people that you knew in the porn industry are all dead.
Yeah, via suicide or overdose. And what's even wilder is, I mean, these are people that I knew. There's far more people than just that.
Right.
And what's a wild number to look at is how many girls who were in the porn industry were murdered.
Oh my gosh.
Because they end up in relationships that are incredibly abusive and they feel like they don't have any worth, and then they end up with someone that's going to abuse them, so they end up.
I guess it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was wild. I mean, I was in Atlanta recently, and the person that was like doing security detail for me, he was saying that probably 90% of the cases that he has is domestic abuse.
Dang.
And it's like, and he'll go into this place, and it's like they're not married, they've got kids.
Yeah.
She's got some kids from maybe a previous person. But it's just like that.
Dang.
Like, if you don't value yourself, you welcome brokenness into your life. And then brokenness is always going to beget brokenness. And it's just this never-ending cycle. But yeah, I mean, 43 people that I was in the industry with died of suicide or overdose. I only have one roommate that's still alive. And that could have been me.
Right.
I mean,
you were almost there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I almost took my life, but God's hand of protection on me was like, I mean, there was literally an HIV outbreak, and there was someone that I had unprotected sex with who contracted HIV, and that person died, and another person who they had sex with also died, and I could very well and should be dead, but I'm not. So like that industry, but around like 33 of those 43 people, they didn't die while they're in the industry. They left the industry, but the world continued to say, "Oh, you're doing another job? You're trying to do something different with your life?" Oh no. I mean, where's my phone? This is who you are.
Dang.
I mean, I would love. I mean, if if this interview is about to come to a close, I think we'd be doing people a disservice if we, like what we were just talking about before we started talking about, regarding like the bridge of love thy body and this just understanding where when you get to a place that you're sitting across the desk from someone and you invite someone, hey, I'm going to make you famous. Your life's going to be incredible. You're super talented and you're going to do well in this industry. This is what I was hearing and you were
headhunted. Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and then I'm sitting in front of this person. It's like, you're an actor. You got acting experience. There's going to be all these like parodies of these films and you'll be the lead.
Jeez.
You're going to make all this money. You're a good looking guy. Like we can like, you can do other stuff. You can do all this stuff. You'll be the guy. You'll be famous. You'll make all this money. You're amazing. So what do you want to change your name to? Because Joshua Broome probably wouldn't be willing to do some of the stuff, but if we change your name and we remove your dignity, if I remove your humanity and your identity from you, I bet eventually you agree to some stuff. If you get broken down enough.
Do most porn stars have pseudonyms?
Not most, all.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's telling, huh?
Well, of course. Because because like when you get in the industry, like mostly girls, but they'll have no list, like things that they won't do or things they don't want to do. And it doesn't become, it's not really a no yet, a no list. It's how much list.
Oh gosh.
It's like, I don't want to do this. Please don't ask me to do this. Okay, no problem. A few years go by, and then, she's not getting as many calls as she used to, not getting as many job offers as she used to, and then the agent like goes in essentially like shops the studio saying, hey, how much would you pay for her to do this?
Oh, geez.
20,000, 30,000, 30,000? Okay, perfect. And then he goes back to the girl, and it's like, out of nowhere, this studio.
This is how it works, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Jeez,
this over and over and over and over again. Out of nowhere.
Did your agent do this to you?
Yeah, it's like out of nowhere, this person's offering you like all this money, and if you do it, you'll be relevant again.
Oh my gosh.
And then the girl does it, and then it just becomes something they do. And then once all the things that you haven't done yet, you've done, and then there's nothing to do. You're
used goods.
Yeah, and then you'll escort for a while, which is just another name for prostitution, and then but that only works while your name has notoriety, and then at the very end, you start feature dancing, which is just stripping, where a strip club will bring someone in that's formerly a famous porn star.
Oh, really? Is this how it works? So it kind of, and it's like when you're on your way down from your,
and then at the end,
good Lord,
you're because like you're in the strip club and you're getting like a feature dancing fee or whatever, but then you just stop getting calls, and then now what? You like these girls have been convinced for years. This is like, because like on set they're like, man, like who's gonna date you? Who's gonna want you? What are you gonna put on your resume? It's like all these things where it sounds like it's a joke. It's no. I'm chipping away at your humanity until because that's how you can manipulate someone.
And then they eventually kill themselves
because there's no hope.
Do you know what percentage of people who have exited
average
the porn industry kill themselves within 5 to 10 years?
I don't know a number, but the average lifespan of someone who's done porn for over 5 years is 33.
Oh my gosh. Seriously?
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
So I know one other person that has their life together.
Brittany?
Yeah.
It's a crazy story.
Yeah.
I've never met her, but just like you, helping so many people.
Yeah.
No.
And it was Jesus and community.
Yeah.
And counseling and healing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. So why does, you talked a little bit about the brain. Joshua, but like I really want people to understand this that are listening.
And I want to make sure we come back to.
We will.
We'll close with
because so like I used to be in a group with guys, you know, and accountability and this one individual, you know, every week.
Yeah.
No freedom.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the same struggles with other things.
Right.
Like he could stop drinking when he wanted to.
Yeah.
You see stories of people with radical salvations from like hippie, you know, crazy orgy lifestyle to I got filled by the Holy Spirit. I was saved, and God just took away all of the craving for drugs or alcohol. I hear these stories all the time.
Well, I mean,
I have never heard. Now, I don't want to say that this has not happened. We did an Instagram reel one time or something, Joshua, and it was saying like you can't. We said something like you can't just pray your way out of a sexual addiction.
Right.
And we had some angry people that thought I was discounting the power of God.
Yeah.
But you have to think about it for a second. This is a discipleship issue. There's a reason why there's thousands of God delivered me from alcohol or drugs overnight. And there's almost no stories of God delivered me from 20 years of porn addiction overnight.
Right.
And the answer to why is super important.
Yeah.
And it gets into like discipleship and renewing of your mind kind of stuff. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, I think because to the people, it's like, I can't do it. It's like, well, I wasn't addicted to porn, but I mean, I was living that way.
Right.
It's like to the person, it's like, oh, I could never do that. I could never, do that. It's like, well, I had a radical encounter with Jesus, and then I was abstinent for 18 months before we got married, so it can't happen.
Yeah.
But I would say, but with pornography, it's different. It's so interesting. So as far as like the dopamine hit in your brain, other than hard drugs, it's the highest spike. It's the highest high. It's the highest level of enjoyment you can have outside of hard drugs regarding measuring it on your brain. So, but pornography, it's different because it's like you're experiencing something that was designed by God to be with one person for one lifetime, and you discover it progressively together. Because I mean, just think about this. I mean, this blows my mind if you really think about it. And I mean, this most certainly wasn't my story. But when you say your marriage vows, you may now kiss your bride. What is that insinuating?
That you hadn't kissed her before.
That you haven't kissed your bride.
Yeah.
I
never thought about that.
You may now kiss your bride. So sex was designed by God for it to be a discovery process in between one man and one woman for one lifetime. That was the design. But when you're watching it through a screen and you're choosing what you can see and you're developing this appetite, this is not the way your brain was created to engage with intimacy.
Yeah.
And you're developing these patterns. There was this story about this guy who his dad caught him masturbating, and he felt embarrassed. So he started going out into the field, and he was lived on a farm, and he would just go out and he would drop his trousers and he would be in his cowboy boots, and he would always masturbate like out behind the barn, like in his cowboy boots. Well, 20 years later, he can't have sex with his wife if he doesn't wear his cowboy boots.
Oh my gosh.
Because
that's real?
Well, yes, because there's a bonding chemical released in your brain where you bond with your surrounding.
Yeah.
So,
right.
but that was God's design. God designed you to bond with your mate in your surroundings, to create safety, to create consistency, to create comfort. So all of a sudden, when you're engaging with this constant variation of various partners, various things, you're developing an appetite for something your palate can't even handle. But what you're desiring, you're insatiable for, but it's not real.
Yeah.
And just thinking about the part of your brain that it really impacts is your prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex It allows you to control your impulse control, and just to regulate your emotions. So I think you hinted to this earlier where, man, guess what? If you're addicted to porn, you're probably pretty moody. You're probably depressed from time to time. You probably have you don't have a good relationship with food, because if it's not one thing, it's going to be another. I can't regulate my emotions. Like my 3-year-old, when he wants butter toast in the morning and he doesn't get it right away, he loses his mind. And there's nothing I can say to him because he can't hear me, because he can't regulate his emotions. The only thing I can do is get on his level and give him a hug. He can't control his emotions. So what we do is we revert back to adolescence when we're watching pornography, and we can't control our bodies or control our emotions, and we can't live in reality as an adult because we're thinking like an adolescent.
And that's all of that truth bomb that you just dropped is proof that there's a connection between the body and the mind.
Yeah.
So we're embodied, ensouled human beings.
Yeah.
The science continues to prove this. And yet our entire culture is based off of this like absolute Gnostic, really it's this attempt to rip the material from the spiritual.
Yeah.
Or the physical from the metaphysical. This undergirds the entire culture.
Yeah.
This is why I brought Dr. Nancy Piercy to Life or Death Con, this awesome conference you spoke at that we did in January in Washington, D.C., because she's basically the Francis Schaeffer of this generation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
By the way, sweetest person you'll ever meet, too. But this whole idea of there's a body-mind split. I mean, it goes back to the Apostle Paul was writing against this sort of Gnosticism. And you see it with Rousseau, with Jean-Jacques Rousseau. You see it with Descartes.
Yeah.
Descartes, Cartesian dualism. There's literally a name. Descartes was so damaging or influential in normalizing this dualistic view of the body and the world. Descartes, Cartesian dualism. It's named after him.
Yeah.
This stuff goes back a long ways.
Yeah.
And this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how God made the world, which is goes so much to your point, which you always talk about, how God intended things, doing it his way. It's really quite simple, actually, when we can go all philosophical, but you kind of come back down and you're like, oh yeah. And maybe I should just read my Bible and go to church. Well, a good church, pastor who actually understands and is able to preach through these issues. But it's kill the baby in the womb. Wait, why? Well, because they're not a person. Why are they not a person? Right. Well, because, persons are minds, and minds meaning consciousness, self-awareness. The baby's not self-aware or conscious yet, so body-mind split, kill him.
Wow.
Transgenderism. I am not my body. I'm trapped in the wrong body. Well, you can only be trapped in the wrong body if the thing that's trapped is not a body. So whatever you are is not a body. Oh, so the same thing undergirds transgenderism. Wow. Oh, interesting. Hey, just sell yourself for porn. It's not going to affect you because, who you are and what you are is not a body. You're just a mind. Right. And so stick things in every orifice and sell it online, and it's all good because that's separate from who you are. Yeah. Oh, wait. How many young men getting married right now in their late 20s and 30s have erectile dysfunction problems, Joshua? Yeah. Because they've been addicted to porn since they were 9. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, that just proved that there's a relationship between the body and the mind. You can't get an erection.
Right.
That's a physical thing. Yeah. Because you screwed up things in the mind.
Right.
Until the church understands that all of these issues are an inversion of Genesis 1, a total flipping of the script of who we were made to be, I don't think we're going to get out of any of this mess until the church understands that. That's why your ministry is so important, dude.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And I think they're all interconnected. I mean, you see from Genesis to Revelation, anytime a people are given over to sexual morality, what goes hand in hand.
Well, you know what? Actually, I want to talk to you about this too. You remember Balaam and Balak and the whole thing? Dude, that's gnarly to think about. My take on that is what you cannot defeat militarily, you can always destroy through sexual enticement. Yeah. Because remember, Balak's trying to defeat Israel. But Balaam keeps telling him, you're not going to. God's gonna, they're gonna just, beat you.
Yeah.
So what does Balak do finally? He sends women down into Peor to cause Israel to play the harlot.
Yeah.
The end of that story is here's some sexual enticement.
Right.
Have fun. And the next time the doors of history are opened, Israel has brought the prostitutes and the Asherah poles into God's chosen people.
Yeah.
And they're with sexual enticement.
Yeah.
So Balak goes, well, cool. I might not defeat you. I might not be able to defeat you with an army, but here's some porn.
Yeah.
Basically, like, how is that different than what our political elite do today? That's an interesting question.
Yeah. I mean,
do political elite use sex and porn and enticement as a way to accrue power?
Yes. I mean, like, why wouldn't you change? So Section 230. So Section 230 exists in that essentially any social media entity is immune from any kind of legal ramifications. Like, meaning that like Twitter could have child pornography on its site and it be monetized and it be on their hard drive, yet they're not held liable for it because around 17 years ago, there was someone who had a website, someone posted something obscene, and then they got sued. And that person said, whoa, I didn't post this on my page. I shouldn't be held liable for it. So now Section 230 exists in that if it's a third party that posted something on a social media entity, then they can't be held liable. Why does that still exist in that way? Well, there's billions and billions of marketing dollars tied to that legislation. So if it's changed, everything will need to be rewritten. So is sex...
Sex sells.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the hope for young men and women of this generation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say there is hope because, I mean, you're looking at it,
By the way, what's your wife's name?
Hope. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, like, in a real way, it's like, I think that God has raised me up as a voice for such a time as this to say, I grew up without a father, and that led to lawlessness in my life because I didn't have guidelines or guardrails or a biblical framework. Debauchery and pain entered into my life, and I was, very sexually active and did all this porn and did all this stuff. And what ended up happening? Well, multiple things in my life, but I mean, that I don't want to get into right now, but tons of bad things happened to me in my life, and I should be dead. And in spite of all that, Jesus met me in the middle of that, and he radically changed my life. And I wasn't just satisfied with, okay, I've been saved. Well, I've been saved for something? So don't just read, Ephesians 2:8-9, like, grab on to verse 10. Is there something that God has prepared me to do? And if I walk in it, I'm actually going to be fulfilled. I'm actually going to experience the fulfillment that God has created me to experience. And I can't in my own power destroy the thing in which God created me to do. Like, look at John 21. John 21, as he's restoring Peter, Jesus is asking Peter, do you agape me? I blew it. I can't agree to that. I phileo you. Do you agree to the totality of love? No, I love you like a brother. And then he asks him again, do you agape me? Totality of love. Phileo. And then thirdly, do you even phileo? Do you even love me like a brother? And he was hurt that he said that. But he was like, yeah, I do. You know that I do. And then Jesus said, well, we'll go back fishing. No, he didn't say that. He said, go feed my sheep. Because you can't disqualify yourself from something I created you to do. And if you get your head around that there's a God that loves you so much that went to the cross and died for you, knowing the worst thing that you've ever done, and says, I see you in that, and I love you enough to not move away from you, not to shun you, not to give up on you, but to die for you. If you wrap your head around that, you'll live like you understand it. That's where like Romans 12:1, it's like, man, I've given you, Paul has given us 11 chapters of great theology. And he says, therefore, a reasonable, rational response to the understanding of the mercy of God, the withholding of what I actually do deserve, is for you to live like a living sacrifice, to not be conformed by the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Why? So that I can discern what is God's good, pleasing, and perfect will. What am I supposed to do in this world? Who am I? Right. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to live? And then go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. You don't have to stay broken. You don't have to be owned by your past. You can own it. And the way that you own it is you surrender it at the cross because of what Jesus did on your behalf. And you believe that the Bible is sufficient and true. And if you hold your life up to it, yes, it will be painful. You'll be convicted. You'll be like, man, I really like doing this. It creates comfort in my life. No, it's compromise. Well, I have a preference for this. And then you'll end up in a marriage, or you'll end up, and it's like to the college kid that's struggling with erectile dysfunction. And it's like, well, it's because my wife won't do this thing that I really like. You don't have a preference. You have a perversion. Your mind is wounded. You need to be healed. You need to confess that thing. Like, and I did all of that. And it's been a really hard 10 years, but I'm proud of the man that I am. And I'm a good husband to my wife, and I'm a good dad to my 4 kids, and I'm proud of the man that I am. So regardless of your story, you don't have to stay stuck where you are, because Jesus' blood is enough.
Yeah.
But it should compel you to do something with your life.
Yeah.
So if you're stuck in porn, man, you don't have to stay stuck there. Like, yes, it's going to be difficult to remove a very real addiction. You have corrupted your brain.
Yeah.
But you can do something about it. And I think it's so important for us to talk about these things in churches with people, because the people who are sitting there listening, they're struggling. The numbers tell us over half of the men and at least 40% of the women, in some way, they're either dealing with an abortion they've never confessed. Maybe they're living with their boyfriend. They're struggling with pornography. They don't see themselves in the way that the Bible says is most true. And until they do that, that brokenness, it won't stay the same. It'll grow in the dark. But the beauty of bringing something into the light is whatever you drag into the light, darkness must flee.
Yeah.
Must flee.
What's confess your sins to one another.
Yeah, James 5:16.
So that then you will have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus will cleanse you. Yeah. So, but it assumes that you've actually brought it into the light, right?
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of people that have experienced the forgiveness that comes from 1 John, where if you confess your sins to God, He's faithful and just, to forgive you of all unrighteousness. But there's also James 5:16, where confessing your sins to one another, so that a righteous man or a righteous woman could pray for you, and you could be healed. And I think that in itself is the thing in which we're dealing with. You've confessed to God, but you've never said it out loud to a person. And in a real way, it's like, man, I think you brought it up earlier. It's like I got someone sitting in my small group. They go to church every week. They say they love their wives. They say they read their Bible, but every week they say they keep watching porn. Why? Well, what does their confession look like? Does it look like, did it again?
Right.
That's not helpful, because the depth of your confession is going to equate to your level of healing. Meaning that if that person says, hey, this is the porn site that I go to, this is what I put in the search bar, I masturbated, I fell asleep, I felt terrible, I woke up actually at 1 a.m. and I did it all again, and I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm sick of it. And I think about it all the time and I don't want to. Please help me. Like, that person is desperate. And where there's desperation, there's desire.
Yeah.
Because until you're desperate, you're not going to have a desire to change. A desperate man is a man that's willing to change. So we got to get desperate.
Dang.
So that we can have desire to change.
I told one gentleman one time, kind of the same scenario you just described. I said, you should put your mother-in-law and your covenantized browsing report. And he kind of laughed at me.
Yeah.
Like he thought I was like joking.
Yeah.
It's like, well, clearly nothing else is working.
Yeah. Because it's the reality. When we sin, we lose sight of the reverence of God, but we believe, back to the garden where we believe that it is in our best interest to have autonomy over ourselves. And we believe that God is withholding something from us. And I think in a real way, we don't believe that there's a consequence. Because we love to think that God is loving, but we don't like to think that he's just.
Yeah.
And in him being just, there's always a consequence for sin. And more often than not, you end up hurting the person that you love most.
Yep. Which just goes to show how the truth that we are embodied incarnational people.
Yeah.
Turns out most wives don't like to, have their husbands looking at porn.
Right.
Why? Because you're not just a mind that wears a body.
Yeah.
We're, in some strange and beautiful way, we're both things.
Yeah.
There's so much more we could talk about, bro. But where can you got some projects? You have a podcast. Where can people read things, listen, get resources, get help? Where can churches get resources?
Yeah, so I've just stepped on staff at the American Association of Christian Counselors. So Tim Clinton is awesome. He started that organization 30 years ago.
Wow.
And it's the largest Christian mental health organization in the world. And what makes them distinct by their clarification is they are clinically excellent, but distinctly Christian. Mm-hmm. But I've stepped onto their...
So it's not Freudian, though?
Right. But I've stepped on their team, and I'm leading a vertical of their ministry called Walk Worthy. And based out of Ephesians 4:1, talking about walking worthy of the calling that we've received in Christ Jesus, and just really taking this understanding of what Paul was talking about in chapters 1 through 3. In chapters 1 through 3, he uses the language in Christ 27 times. And when we're saying walking worthy, worthy is really talking about weight. If you understand the weight of what is done on your behalf, what would it look like if you lived like it? We're going to have a lot of resources around sexual integrity, people who want to get free from pornography. What does it look like to identify your purpose? But man, at the end of the day, it's like, man, if you can wrap your head around a battered, beaten, broken Jesus had joy in his heart as he approached the cross, because he was thinking of you. If you really can get your head around that,
yeah,
and you chase after that, like Jay Stringer talks about in his book Unwanted, that if you can clearly articulate your God-given calling or your God-given purpose, like for you individual, not like to fulfill the Great Commission, like what is Seth called to? What is Josh called to? If I can articulate that out loud and I'm moving toward it, I'm 84% less likely to fall into habitual sin.
Oh, wow.
Because guess what? When you're busy doing the things of God, you're satisfied in that, and you're satiated in your relationship with Christ. So when you're filled and you're full and you're tired, guess what? The stuff that holds you back, it loses its luster. And it might be hard today to say no, but if you just do the right thing today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day, it's not about building a streak, it's about building resilience, because that's what consuming pornography does. It minimizes your ability to be resilient. As our Catholic friends talked about, like your chastity, it impacts your ability to have this chastity, to have this resolve, to say, no, I might want to do this thing, but it's not good for me.
Yeah.
And it goes against the values that I say, like, this is who I am. I'm going to say no to this. And just do the next right thing. And then eventually you'll find yourself saying, I might have, like, I saw something And you know, 2 Corinthians 10:5 talks about you're taking your thoughts captive, making you obedient to Christ. It's like, man, it's going to be much easier, you know, 10 weeks, 2 years, 5 years down the road. It might be hard to wrap your head around, like, man, I could never watch porn again. Yeah, you could. And that doesn't mean you might not want to or might not think something, but you can take that thought captive. And it's military terminology. It's not you taking the thought and bashing it. It's military terminology in that it's you taking the thought captive and you bringing the thought to the captain, and the captain tells you what to do with the thought. And guess what? If you knew what the captain was already going to say, you would do with the thought what the captain would already tell you to do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Where can people follow you?
Yeah, so I am Joshua Broome on all my social media.
Oh, that's the title.
Yeah. So I am Joshua Broome on all my social media, and so Walkworthy, we're launching at the end of January, so super pumped about that. Podcast, all that good stuff, and my website, joshuabroome.me.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, I'm Seth Gruber, and this is The Seth Gruber Show.